What's up, legends? It's Aqua, and today I'm finally going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions on the 2023 BreyerFest models.
Shine bright up all night, we're never slowing down.
So let's start with the celebration horse. The celebration horse's name is BreyerFest. Also, I apologize if I butcher any of the names. I'm not really good at pronouncing names. So, the celebration horse is based after the real horse. Here are a couple photos that they have of him, and he's actually really pretty. I really want to see him in person, but it's just not possible for me this year. Then we come down to the model, and honestly, I'm not a huge fan. It's a vintage mold and I don't really collect vintage. It's a very basic color, but it does have some really nice shading in there. I will have to see this model in person to make a final decision. I think they added the sash to make up for pretty much everything that the model is lacking, considering we've had some very out there models in terms of celebration models for the last couple years of BreyerFest. He is a really handsome model, but I kind of wish they picked a different mold. Otherwise, I'd just be completely in love with this model, but yeah, I will have to see this model in person first before I make any final decisions. Alright, moving on. We have the 4-in-hand event stablemates, or the single day stablemates as they used to be known. And to be honest, I'm actually quite impressed this year. They are actually a really good combination of models. So the first one we have is Wheeler. He's on the new pony mold. I actually don't really know what mold this is. I know it's a new one, so I'm not very well acquainted to stablemate molds either, so I apologize. But he's really cute. He's a glossy dappled bay, and I actually really like this model. So I've told myself that I don't collect minis, but it's not happening. I am collecting minis now, so I will probably be on the lookout for this guy. The next one is Teamstar. He's on the Irish Draft stablemate, I think. I am not a huge fan of this mold, and I don't really like the color of this model either. I'm not a big Cremello or Dunalino or Perlino fan, so yeah, he's not on my want list. The next model we have is Navigator. This one's actually kind of cute. Although I'm not a huge fan of the mold itself, the color that they chose and the markings are actually really cool, and I really like it, so yeah. And then the last stablemate is Whip, and oh my god, I kind of wish this was on a traditional mold. I thought it was on a traditional mold when they released it, but he's on the stablemate molds. He is really cute. I love his markings, I love his shading, I love the speckles. And I love the mold too. The little stablemate mold of this guy is absolutely adorable. So yeah, I will definitely be on the lookout for this guy. Moving on to special runs, we have Spios. He's on the Animar mold, which is a brand new mold that they released for Premier Club last year. And I don't really know how I feel about this model. I think I'll have to see this guy in person to make any final decisions, but I kind of do like the mold. The only thing I didn't really like about Animar last year was his design. It just didn't look very realistic at all, but I am curious to see what this guy looks like in person. He is a really dark chestnut, and I actually really like his face marking. His face marking is absolutely adorable. So yeah, I will have to wait and see what this guy looks like before I make any final decision as to whether I want to get him or not. Moving on. Oh my god, we have Araba, and I have mixed feelings about this model. So the one thing that I'm definitely going to point out is that I hate the mold, although hate is not a word that I like to use, but this model just really bugs me because the conformation just looks absolutely whack. The front legs just look way too far forward for an Arabian. But anyway, I am in love with the design. Breyer did a fantastic job picking the design for this model, like seriously. The shading, it isn't just a flat black, it looks like it's a gray undertone with some black over the top, which is really nice. And I love the markings, they're so cool. Although the mane needs a little bit of shading and blending in there, but that's okay, that's just personal preference. Being an artist, I'm very picky about those things, so Anyway, moving on, we have Peanutine. He's on the donkey mold, and I have actually wanted a model on this mold for quite a while now. I don't have any donkeys, but I am so glad that they finally released one, because now I can get one that's attainable, because the ones that I want to get on the donkey mold are a little bit hard to find and a little bit expensive. But anyways, I love this model. The shading is really, really pretty. I love the color that they chose. I love the markings that they chose, although he does kind of remind me of Tennessee Titan a little bit, but just in markings, not the color. The color is completely different, but he does remind me of Tennessee Titan just a little bit, but that's okay. He is really cute nonetheless, and I will definitely be on the lookout for him. Moving on, we have Surrey and Axel. I think it's Surrey. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna go with Surrey. I'm a little annoyed because they're both vintage. I don't collect vintage, but I do really like the design of the mare. The mare is actually really cool. I was a little bit frazzled when I saw it at first. The mapping isn't brilliant, I do have to admit, and I feel like Breyer could have done a little bit better, but I actually really love the shading, especially on the legs. And I just love all the color transitions between all the markings. It's really, really cool. And I actually don't mind the swishy tailed version of the Lady Phase. It's actually a nice version of the Lady Phase. So if anyone ends up selling Surrey by herself without the foal, please let me know, because I will probably end up getting her. Don't get me wrong, the foal is really, really cute. It's just, I don't like the mold. I hate the mold. The markings are really, really cute. It's just the mold, why? Moving on, oh, here's another photo of them, by the way. We have the traditional decorator. This is Naima, something like that. He's on the Akoteki mold, or the Altanai mold, and although I don't collect decorators, he is actually really, really cool. I'm really impressed with the level of detail that Breyer has actually put into this model. I'm not a huge fan of the red mane. I'm not sure why they did that. It just makes it look weird. I kind of wish they went with black, but it's okay. I won't be getting this guy, so I'm not totally fussed. But I just love how intricate the design is on both sides of the model, and I really love the design on his neck and on his legs too. They're really, really cool. So yeah, that's Naima. Next we have the Stagecoach Surprise. Now nobody knows what this model looks like. It is going to be a total surprise until BreyerFest Friday morning, when people actually start getting their surprise models. So in terms of speculation, I actually don't know this year. Usually I have a little bit of a lineup of models that I think it could be, but I actually don't know this year. A lot of the models that I did think of can't be the surprise this year because they've been released as other models. But I am thinking that maybe the Hamilton might be a possibility. I don't really know. I was thinking it was going to be Shenandoah, but that kind of went down the drain because the next model that I'm going to show you is Wells, and he's on the Shenandoah mold. Now, I am freaking out about this model because I collect this mold, and it's the loose painted tail variation, which is my favorite variation ever. And he's got a color that Breyer has never done before, which is quite interesting. Now, Breyer's photos never do the models justice in person, obviously, but they did release on Instagram a photo of all of the special runs together, and I love this horse's color. His color is so pretty. I love it. I am absolutely in love with the fact that he has 4 socks. His stripe is really adorable, and it comes all the way down to his nose and around his mouth, which is adorable. I love his dapples, and of course the color, as I mentioned, is absolutely beautiful. So he is definitely on my want list. Because I'm attending online this year, I can actually get this guy because look, it has online traditional access available, which is, oh my god, I'm literally freaking out. I seriously really want to get this guy. So yeah, he's definitely on my want list. Moving on, we have Jump and Drive. Now, I have very mixed feelings about this model. First thing I love about this model is it's the loose mane and tail variation. We finally have a loose mane and tail variation on the Bristol. He has tri-colored eyes. Actually, I've noticed with all of the Breyers that they've released this year that they all have tri-colored eyes. So Breyer is really jumping out of their skin this year when it comes to detail. I don't know how I feel about this guy's color. It is really cool, but I think I will have to see the model in person to make any final decisions because it looks a little bit too yellow to me, especially on this side of the model. But the markings are really cool. I love the markings. I love his face marking too. It is really pretty. So yeah, it's kind of an on the fence decision for me for this guy. So yeah. Moving on, we have Scurry, and this is the last special run, and this was a total surprise for me. I didn't actually expect Breyer to go for the fell pony molds, but here she is. And I actually really like this model. She's a bay pinto with a black mane and tail with a little bit of white in the mane, which is very nice. I love the markings, they're very unique. So yeah, I will probably end up getting this model at some point. Moving on, we have the limited editions, and these are available to everyone that goes to BreyerFest. So the first model we have is Violetia or something like that. She's on the brand new standard bred molds, and I don't know how I feel about this model. She is very plain, to be honest. I know there's a little bit of pinking in there, but I just, this side of the face looks photoshopped to me for some reason. It looks like they just plonked pink on there to make it look like she's got a pink nose. It looks really odd. The eyes are straight black, which doesn't really help with the detail, the lack of detail, I should say. And the hooves just look really out of place. I am very picky when it comes to hooves on my models, especially when it comes to white markings and any horses that are grey. But yeah, I don't think I will be getting this model unless I see what she really looks like in person. But yeah, not on my want list. Moving on, we have HD Harkness, and he's on the Troubadour mold, which is a mold that I conga. And I really like this guy. I know his photos don't look brilliant. They make him look really, really red. I have actually seen a video of this guy's real color and he looks really, really pretty. So yeah, his shading is beautiful. I love his little white sock. He has a snip, and I love models with snips. And it looks like they hand painted the markings. It's not just bare plastic, which is what they usually do. So that's something different, and I'm really looking forward to adding this guy to my collection. Moving on, we have the classic decorator. This is Delft. Now, I don't collect classics and I don't collect decorators, so this guy is definitely not on my want list, but I do have to admire the color of this model. I love the color choice. I love all the speckles. They're so cool. And the little detailed cart is actually really, really cool. So yeah, but I'm not a decorator person, so no, not for me. Moving on, oh my God, this model, literally, I almost died when I saw this model. So this is FBA's Grand Design, or Tilly, and she's on the Othello mold. And not only that, she's a mare. Now, Breyer has never done a mare on the Othello mold, and I literally freaked out when I found out she was a mare. So I conquered this mold. I will definitely be getting her. I love the design. The design is absolutely amazing. I love the color. I love the different colors in her mane, and the fact that her tail is a very light color, and it looks like it's kind of got some pinking going on in there, which is really cool. And I love the face marking, especially on the show side and on the off side. And oh my God, I seriously can't wait to add her to my conga. She is probably the top model that I want to get this year. So if I don't get her, I will be majorly upset. All right, moving on, we have the Crystal Pony. This is Phaeton. Now, I actually don't know what mold this is based off. to be honest. It's an American saddlebred of some sort, but I've never seen the mold before, so that's cool. I'm not a crystal collector, so I won't be getting this guy, but he's a really cool model, and I think people will be really happy with this guy this year. So yeah, that's Phaeton. Moving on, we have the Best of BreyerFest series, number 4. And I actually kind of like this set this year. So they've got 5 models. They're each based off the 2013 raffle or prize models, I think. I can't really read that from here. But I really like the selection that they chose and the molds that they have. So I think I will definitely be getting this set this year. I haven't actually gotten a Best of BreyerFest set in the last couple years, so this will probably be the first time that I get one because I love 3 of the 5 models, kind of 3.5, maybe this guy, but moving on, we have the plushie. This is Sulky, and I, for once, don't actually like the plushie this year. He's very simple. I wish they did something a little bit more with color. But yeah, that's just personal preference. Obviously, everyone's opinion is different, but this year I just don't really like the plushie. And I don't usually collect the plushies unless I really, really love them. I only have 1 plushie. So moving on, we have the online special. This is Strudebaker. I think I pronounced that correctly. She's on the Yasmin mold, which is a mold that I conga. I don't know how I feel about this model, to be perfectly honest. I think the color looks a little weird, but then again, Breyer's photos aren't that great. So this model could be absolutely gorgeous in person, so I'm gonna take the risk and I'm gonna get her during BreyerFest. She's a Palomino Pinto, and she has a snip from what I can see, which I absolutely love. And I do actually really like the markings. It's just the color I'm worried about. That's the only thing I'm worried about is the color. But then again, usually the models look so much better in person than they do in the photos. So I'm just gonna take the risk and I'm gonna get her this year. Moving on to the last model of BreyerFest this year. This is Buggy, and oh my God. I am freaking out because I love him. Although I've told myself I don't want to collect minis, I will definitely be getting this guy. He's an online exclusive as well. He's on the Frisian stablemate, which is actually a mold that I really like. And he's got a color / design that I absolutely adore. I love the color, I love the speckles, I love the appy markings, I love all the spots. I just love everything about this guy. He's so adorable and I seriously want to add him to my collection. Alright, so that is all of the BreyerFest special runs, limited editions / models that are going to be available this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know everyone's opinions are different, so feel free to comment down below which models you really want to get this year. And yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Instagram at aqua.models, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys, and stay legendary.